This demonstration will show the CA DataMinder endpoint agent deployment using Windows Group Policy startup scripts. In this demonstration environment, our domain controller, Active Directory, and DataMinder CMS are running on a Windows Server 2008 R2. During the CMS installation, endpoint deployment files are created. We will use these files to install endpoint agents on client machines. Navigate to the folder containing these endpoint deployment files. This is the default endpoint files folder. Let's take a look at the installation batch file. The batch file first checks for an existing installation of CA DataMinder and, if found, immediately exits. The batch file checks for and installs the required Visual C++ libraries and determines if the 32 or 64-bit agent package should be installed. The endpoint files need to be located in a network share accessible by the endpoint machines. The domain controller contains a set of shared folders appropriate for this and are replicated to other domain controllers automatically. A shared folder within this set exists for each group policy object. The easiest way to copy the files to the correct location is when creating the group policy object. Copy the files now and we will paste them in later. The recommended deployment using group policy operations is to use an assigned deployment to computers, not users. To accomplish this, there is a change we first need to make in Active Directory. Open Active Directory Users and Computers. By default, the Computers container includes all computers joined to the domain. A production environment would normally separate these machines out into other organizational units, but this has not been done in this demonstration environment. Group policy cannot be applied to containers. We must create an organizational unit and move our target computers to that OU. Select the domain and create a new organizational unit. Return to the computers container and select the machines you want to move. Client 1 and 2 are the Windows 7 64-bit machines we have operating in this domain. Move the target machines to the new organizational unit. Now let's take a quick look at the installed programs on the two client machines. First, I'll connect to the Client 1 machine. I'll log on as user Andy Jones. I have a shortcut on the desktop to open programs and features. Notice here that CA DataMinder and Visual C++ programs are not currently installed. And if we jump over to Client 2, and log on as user Bill Brown, we'll see the same state of installed software. Now we'll return to the domain controller and launch the Group Policy Management console. Depending on your version of Windows Server, access to the console may differ, but the process of creating a group policy object is similar. Drill down to your target domain The machine names do not appear under the OU. Only linked group policy objects will appear. If I expand group policy objects, you will see the existing group policies. Right-click Group Policy Objects and select New. Provide a descriptive name of the new group policy. Now select the group policy object just created. You may need to refresh the view if it does not appear. The deployment settings for the GPO appear on the right. Here we'll make a couple changes. First, since we are targeting the deployment to computers and not users, change the security filtering scope to domain computers, a group in Active Directory to which the target machines belong. Using Active Directory groups is a way to scope a deployment within an organizational unit. You can enter a partial group name and click Check Names. There is one more change we can make on the Details tab. Group policy is split into user configuration and computer configuration. If your GPO applies to only one, you can set the GPO status to disable the other. When finished with the deployment options, right-click to edit the new GPO. Editor opens, expand the Policies branch, and open Windows Settings. Select Scripts. We'll be using a startup script for this deployment. Double-click Startup in the right pane. Remember those endpoint files we copied earlier? Here's where we'll paste them to the shared script folder for this GPO. Click the Show Files button. Windows Explorer will open to the correct folder. Note the path to the folder. Right-click and paste the files here. Is complete. Now we just need to identify the batch file to be executed. Click Add, then click Browse to open the folder again. The same Startup Scripts folder should be visible with the files you just copied in. Select the install.bat batch file and click Open. Do not navigate to another folder. If you don't see the files, start over. Click OK to confirm the script file. Then OK once more. There is no save function. Changes are saved on input. Exit the policy editor. We are finished defining the group policy object. Now we need to link it to our OU. Right-click and select Link an existing GPO. Select the GPO and click OK. That's it. As soon as you link the GPO, it is active. If you have multiple domain controllers, it will be replicated. Now we'll reboot the client machines. Upon startup, the scripts will be executed. I have waited about 5 minutes for the two client machines to reboot and the startup scripts to execute and install the software. Now let's look at the results of the group policy processing. The Group Policy Management console is still open. In the lower left pane, you'll see a Group Policy Results item. This wizard is useful for verifying and troubleshooting group policy objects. Right-click to start the wizard. Here you can see that the GPO was applied. If it did not work, you would look at the denied GPOs and see the reason. Component status also provides useful information, such as if a reboot is required to complete the process. Now let's log on to the client machine and check the installed software. And here we can confirm that CA DataMinder client agents and the Visual C++ libraries have been installed. One additional check back on the domain server, which is also our CMS. Open the CA DataMinder administration console. After connecting, expand Machine Administration. Select the CMS to see the client machines connected. This completes this demonstration.